This tutorial is going to walk you through the show minimum wax length and set actual wax length processes in the Revo software. These are required every time you run a rotary job, and we're going to teach you how to do them. They're very simple. You simply jog the cutter to the actual end of the wax. However, they are essential. They're necessary every time you run a rotary job to teach the mill where the end of the wax is so it can create either a horizontal or a vertical cut or both in the correct location. To begin, we're going to load a rotary job. You'll be doing this on your mill, so you won't have all these files. It'll probably be on your desktop or wherever you like to save it. Navigate to the file, select it, and click Load Revo File. We'll click Open, and it'll take just a moment to open on the Revo computer. We're going to simply follow the instructions by removing all fixtures from the mill and clicking Confirm when that's done. We'll wait for a moment for the job to load. And of course, the mill will move into position in order to load the correct tools. In this case, we're doing a hollowing cutter on the horizontal and a 10-degree taper cutter on the vertical. So we can skip these since they're already loaded. Okay, since it's already loaded, we're going to go ahead and skip this again. We then need to measure each tool by confirming that the tool sensor is in the proper measuring location. For the horizontal cutter, of course, that's on the A-axis. We then measure each tool, and the mill moves into position to measure the tool. This is going a little faster than it does on real life because the video is sped up for your enjoyment. We, of course, reposition the tool sensor into the location on the table where it's needed to measure the vertical cutter. So the vertical cutter will come down and touch that. Again, confirm, and once we move the vertical cutter will be measured again. We're speeding up the tape for you. Of course, we need to remove the tool sensor from the mill in order to load on the 3-jaw chuck. So we'll load on the 3-jaw chuck and click Confirm. Next, we'll load the 33 millimeter tube of at least 59.7 millimeters long into the tube wax into the fixture. If you're doing a hollow model with a hollowing cut, remember this has to be a hollow tube wax. There's no other way to complete a hollowing cut. So click Confirm. Okay, now what's going to happen is it's going to tell you show minimum wax length. All you need to do for this is click Move, and we'll do that in just a second. We're going to show you what the mill is going to do when we click Move. There's our shot of the mill. As we click Move, the mill is going to move over in the X direction and then down in the Z direction. This location here that the cutter is located above the wax is representing the minimum possible wax length. Once it's moved into that position, it's now going to be your job to jog the mill to the actual wax length. As you see here, the cutter is not at the end of the wax. It's where the shortest possible wax can be located that you're going to be able to cut on the mill. However, you don't want the mill to start at this location. It won't be able to do the head correctly if you're running a head. The hollowing cutter will have to reach in much too far. You need to move this to the actual location at the end of the wax. And the mill is going to prompt you to do that. If you look in the instructions, it says set actual wax length by using the X direction jog controls to position the vertical cutter over the wax edge. Click Move to set the wax length and return to the home position. So at this point in the instructions, we don't click Move until after we jog the cutter into position at the very edge of the wax. And in this case, it means moving the x-axis in the right-hand direction. Remember, this whole axis is going to pick up and move right so that the cutter is located at the true end of the wax. Let's see how that works. Make sure before you begin clicking these buttons that you're at a pretty slow pace. We're going to go down to medium slow. You might even want to get all the way to slow before you start doing this. This protects your cutter, protects your mill from running into anything, protects your cutter from breaking, and prevents anyone from getting hurt. As we continue clicking right, it's going to move the x-axis right, and we're going to just take a good look and make sure that this cutter is located right at the edge of that wax. It should be right in line with the edge here. Once it's in the correct location, you're able to click Move, and it'll save that to its memory, and it'll know exactly where to start that model. Mill's moving to position. And the last thing it'll do is ask you to check the coolant and start the job.